Cleaning Nation, welcome to another episode of the Grow My Cleaning Company podcast. I want to take a quick moment and thank you, Cleaning Nation, for sharing the show, for just all the amazing reviews on iTunes. Definitely keep them coming. That helps other people get to know the show. The kind of feedback that I get personally in our Facebook group, you guys are just an amazing group. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check out the YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, take us on the road by subscribing to the podcast. No matter where you're listening, go to growmycleaningcompany.com. I just put up an amazing video just for you, a tool to grow your cleaning company. If you dig the show, you are going to love what I have waiting for you at growmycleaningcompany.com. Today, we are chatting with Victoria Amador from Boston's Best Cleaning. I can't even talk today. Good Lord. Boston's Best. Did you make this name hard for me? Boston's Best Commercial Cleaning. These guys and gals have been serving the Boston area and surrounding for the combined 27 years of experience. If you want to reach out to Victoria and her team, you get a hold of her at www.bostonbestcommercialcleaning. I don't know why I can't say that, but it's hard. .com. That's not part of the web address, by the way. It's just Boston Best Commercial Cleaning, not Boston Best Commercial. I don't know why I can't say that. Cleaning.com. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
So glad to have you, sister. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the cleaning business and what stage of business you're in currently.
Sure. So I started with, it's a family business. It's my mother, my sister, and myself. And we started 7 years ago. My mother had me training for many different companies, both residential and commercial. And I was at the Breakers in Palm Beach, and I wanted to do something really cool for the Boston market. So we decided to put our experience together and create this amazing residential cleaning company. Within 2-3 years, we decided to go into the commercial side. Margins were better. Everything looked better than the residential. So we decided to put all of our effort into growing the commercial cleaning division. And it has been exciting. It has been amazing. But I never thought that I was going to sell or move on to something else. And now I am at the point where I'm thinking I need to come up with an exit strategy, which is why I'm here today.
Fantastic. I can't wait to share with you some love on that. Before we do, I get quite a few folks looking to make the transition from commercial to residential. Oddly enough, very rarely, if ever, from residential to commercial. And I've got lots of feedback on that. But anytime I can get a real live person that's made that transition, I would love if you're willing to share with Cleaning Nation what kind of the goods and the bads. Like, was it as good as you thought? Did you have? Was it what surprises did you have? Tell us a little bit about that switch and if you liked it or would recommend it.
Sure. So let me just clarify. So are you saying the changes from residential to commercial or from commercial to residential?
No, because it sounds like you went from residential to commercial, correct?
Yes, exactly. So we were doing residential, really good money in the residential piece, but there is a lot of overhead when we compare that to the commercial. And I think it could be because of the city. We are in Boston. The big commercial accounts that we have, people can go directly to them. So we don't have to have transportation or as much out of liability insurance and all of that stuff. So the overhead for us tends to be lower for commercial.
Wow.
So obviously that means that the margins are better. So, and one of the things that we noticed too is that on the residential, people complain about pillows being left the wrong way. That maybe the beds were not made the way that they actually really like it because we make it in a certain way. So there is a lot of more people management, client management services in the residential when it compares to the commercial.
Okay, so it sounds like for you, you've been happy with that change, and it's been a good experience for you.
We have been grateful for the experience in the commercial market. Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. And I always tell folks because about half my customers are commercial, and about half of them are residential. So I wouldn't say I have a favorite or one's better than the other, but I do like the focus, and I like early on that you said, hey, this is the niche that we're going to go after, and you went after it. So, okay, you had mentioned that you're looking for help with having an exit plan for your business if you wanted to sell, preparing it. So if you wanted to sell in a year or two, you'd be able to do that for top dollar. Is that correct?
That's right.
Awesome. That's a subject I love talking about. I've sold multiple businesses, the first of which was a cleaning company. And the last two, and I did pretty well with that one, but the last two, I feel like I sold for the top of market. And I love sharing how we did that because it's a lot of fun when you can get that one big payday after all of your hard work. It's really exciting. So that said,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it'll change everything you do going forward depending on how much you sell. But if you sell for enough where you don't have to work anymore and you're doing what you want to do because you love it, as opposed to if I don't do this, I can't make my rent or my mortgage, or I can't pay my bills. It's a beautiful place. So I would love to help you in Cleaning Nation prepare for that. So first and foremost, I found, because I've sold businesses multiple times, but I've wanted to sell my business, about 20% of the time I'm running them. You're like, I could just do without this, right? And I've had businesses buying, selling, building for 20 years, and I found the worst time to sell the business, and this is so counterintuitive, and the beautiful thing is you've got a couple years, so you're going to have no problem. The worst time to sell your business is when you're panicked, when you're like, I hate this freaking business. I'm so sick of it. I just want out, and I want out now. I'm not looking for a 6-month sales cycle or a 9-month sales cycle. I don't want a 3 months. If you would just give me a nickel and a hug, I'll leave today, kind of an attitude. That's the worst time to sell your business, right? You're in a panicked mode. Someone's going to take advantage. They're going to smell that something's wrong with your business and go, what's wrong? And they're not going to want it. It's very repellent to buyers and extremely repellent to top dollar buyers, right? You're going to get nobody or the bottom feeders. Mm-hmm. But that's when you feel like you want to sell. Your emotions are saying, get me out of here because this thing's miserable. The reverse is when you love your business and you're like, good Lord, we make so much money and I do so little work and this is ridiculous. I almost feel guilty for this pay structure. That's when you sell it for a lot of reasons. One, obviously you get top dollar because you're making profit. B, not the story, but the reality. Obviously you don't want to lie to any buyers, but the story of I don't really work more than 10, 15 hours a week and this is what our financials look like. That is very appealing to a buyer. A buyer does not want a business. You're like, I work 100 hours a week and here's how much we make. They're like, well, shoot, I could make that working 100 hours a week for free. I don't need you. So when you've got that place of, we'll talk about how to get there, but the business is doing great, you love it, is the best time to sell because you've got some unscrupulous buyers that'll go all the way to the end. And I've seen this before, even on large sales. You've got business owners that just they've already in their mind or in reality, depending on the situation, bought their boat. They're gonna travel. They're selling they've like put everything into the sale, right? And then at the closing table, the buyer goes, you know what? We're changing our offer. We'll give you 30% less than what we said. And you're stuck, right? If you've built the business to sell and you already got a foot out the door, you are just stuck. The last two businesses I sold, I worked as hard or harder on them during the sales process. And I think they took the last one, because I stipulated that because I could stipulate anything I wanted because they were coming to me and I didn't want to sell, we would close in 90 days or less. But the one before that, I think it took a good 6 months to close. But I worked harder during the close than I did at any other time in my business. So what happened is the business got more valuable the longer it went. So if they would have tried to say, oh, we're going to do less, I could raise the price on somebody else because we're making more money than we were 6 months ago. So Fine, you want to lower it? I want to raise it. Get out. And it was serious. I could have gotten another buyer for more money, but I'm not the kind of person that's going to change my word and break a deal. So all that to say, those are a lot of the reasons that you want to make sure the timing of the sell is right. And I love that, I know there's a red flag when someone comes to me and says, I got to get out of this business. I need to sell now. How do I do it? I have very little coaching. There's just not a lot you can do. It's like, well, if you want to sell it today, what do you want me to tell you? I can help you find a buyer, but it is what it is. When someone comes and says, I've got a year or two, I'd like to really prepare this thing for sale. Now we can really prepare it for sale. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All completely. Right. Good. Now that we've got that foundation, which is really important, let's dive into some nitty gritty. First of all, again, I just want to say it again. A couple years, 1 to 2 years ahead is the perfect time to sell your business. If you want to sell it tomorrow, or you're panicked, or you hate your business, all bad times to sell. 1 or 2 years in the future, when you love your business, everything's working great, perfect time to sell. So that's that. Next thing is you want to have your books in order perfectly. All of my businesses, I've always had that for my own benefit. And when I went to sell, overwhelmingly, I had buyers that were like, wow, these books are perfect to the penny, to the dollar. There was zero cash or ask my accountant or, oh, this just went here, we don't really do it, or this is my kid's, football uniforms. I didn't do any of that crap. Personal expenses always went through personal. I never ran it through the business. Business expenses were always business expenses. And sometimes there were legitimate personal expenses that I could, like my cell phone would be a good example. That went through the business, but good Lord, I used it for my business all the time, or part of my car, or so legitimate expenses that were actual expenses I ran through, but never anything funny like, oh, this is my wife's car, or this is, we went to Tahiti and, whatever. So it was all legitimate expenses, and my books were perfect. And the feedback I got with the brokers I was using to sell the business was that's unusual. Most business owners know how much they're making, and maybe they're making a lot, maybe they're not, but it's not on their P&L. It's not on their tax return. So they're wanting to get paid on the amount that they think that they're making or that they feel that they're making, but they're only going to get paid on the amount that they can prove that they're making. And usually those are huge differences, right? The buyer's like, I don't care about your story, how you take all this cash out or you write yourself all this. I'm only going to pay for what you can prove, right? So I would, and I hate to say this, it hurts me to say this, if you're serious about preparing your business for sale, I would try and pay as much taxes over the next 2 years as possible. Because when you can show a business paying a lot of taxes, like, wow, this is after they've done what they could to minimize their tax burden. They're probably even making more. Any questions on that piece before we move on? Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Okay,
that's what I heard from my accounting as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's absolutely correct. So the two pieces you want with the books are, first of all, you want to pay as much taxes as possible, which again, I hate saying, it makes me sick, but there we are. And two, every dollar accounted for. There should be zero fluff or, miscellaneous expenses or any of that stuff. Just every dollar, because they're like, wow, this place is in order. That brings me to the next big thing. And if you can get these two things, I have found, if you can get these three things, one, you don't want to sell, they want to buy. Two, your books are absolutely in order and profitable. The third thing is systems. I touched on it before earlier. I hate saying the story, because the narrative, which is a true narrative of when I sold my last two businesses, where I work here 10 to 20 hours a week tops, and I'm here because I love it. I don't have to be here. I enjoy the people, and I enjoy creating culture, and I'm here only when I want to be here, period. Never, because a lot of times if we're working 60 hours a week and you know everything about the business, some new guy comes in, he's still learning how to be in business and how to be in your business. He's got to work 200 hours a week, right? He can't work the same 60 hours a week. So if I'm working 20, now he or she can work 40 or 50 and have a reasonable life and learn and not be so stressed out. And it's just very appealing. So that's a big one. And the only way that you're going to have that autonomy is systems, right? If either you're running the business and making all the decisions, or you've made all the decisions in advance, and those are called systems, and you wrote them down or put them on a video or somehow codified them so everybody can access them, that's called a system. Instead of customers coming to you saying, this customer's pissed off, Johnny didn't show up, there's a bum in the parking lot, whatever's going on. I'm just making stuff up because as cleaners, we know that every day it's a new ridiculous thing. You've either got to, on your feet, kind of make the decisions, here's how we deal with this, or you, especially when there's things that you deal with over and over and over again, you make that decision once and you let the system kind of lead the company, paired with core values, and you're not as relied upon. The next part of so not working in the business is a huge benefit of systems. The other one is you should be able, and this is extremely compelling to a customer. So if I come to you as a seller and you're the buyer, or I'm trying to get you to be the buyer, and I say, listen, my business did $1 million in revenue last year, and I made $150,000 for profit or for myself, and I can't really prove that because the books show this, that, and the other, but trust me, I took all this money, and I'm working 50 hours a week, but I love it, and I don't get much time off, and and the whole thing was built on referrals. That's how I got all my customers. Consider that story compared to same numbers. Hey, Victoria, I've got this business. It's doing about $1 million in revenue. We made $151,019.82 in profit last year. 60,000 of that was W-2 salary. The rest of it was profit. And I can show you it's in these three accounts. Here's where it is. If you have any questions on any of that money, let me know. I can show you exactly with receipts what's going on. Honestly, I'm in the business 2 or 3 days a week for 4 or 5 hours. And we've been growing at a pace of 12% a year. And I can tell you we're going to grow at a pace of 12% a year because here's the 6 places where we get our customers. Our Facebook budget is $1,000 a month, and we get um, 27 inquiries, 4 bids, and 2 customers a month on that. Our direct mail budget is $2,000 a month, and we get and you just go through the 5 or 6 advertising or client attraction things that you've got, and you tell them, here's about how many inquiries we get, here's about how many bids we give, and here's how many new clients that we get. And if you just spend more in these areas, you'll make more money. If you spend less, you'll make less. That's very compelling, where it's not just I've grown this much, but here's not, oh yeah, it's all referrals. It's these 5 things, these 7 things. Here's the 8 ways we get customers. And I've got systems around all of them, and I've got numbers around all of them. None of it's just a guess of, well, we spend a bunch of money on Facebook and we do real well. People call all the time. It's very different than we spend $1,000. We get, between 18 and 26 leads per month. Those usually translate into 3 to 5 bids, and we'll do given on any given month 1 or 2 new customers, and our average customer is $1,500 a month, and our average customer stays 18 months. Do you see how compelling that is to a prospective buyer? That's like, wow, not only do I have all these customers backwards that could all quit when I buy, but she's got a system that she's selling me of how to create new customers.
Absolutely, and we have that, so that's really good to hear.
Perfect. So now it's just a matter of communicating with your buyer, all this good stuff. And the last thing is the customer list and the prospect list. I've talked about all the time in my when I speak in the podcast, how you want to sell below the iceberg. Basically, you don't want to be with everybody else chasing the customers that have raised their hand and said, hey, I need an RFQ or I need a bid today. That situation, there's one of those types of customers and a dozen people on the job walk. That's not who you want. You want the people that haven't raised their hand yet. They're going to be buying within the next year, but they haven't raised their hand yet. And you want to be constant. You want to have a system to communicate with them where once you've got their information, you might give them a call once every 45 days. They might get an email every 3 days. Every 2 months, they might get a piece of direct mail. But if you've got a list of even 1,000 people that have raised their hand, they've gone to your website, you offered a lead magnet saying, hey, 5 things you've got to know before you hire a cleaning company. They've given you their information in exchange for that lead magnet, and you've got a system that's following up with them. Wow, is that valuable? People want to know about your list. Amazon has been in business for all this time. They've never made a profit. All they've done is spent billions of dollars building a list of relationships with customers. That's why they're so valuable to shareholders. Is Amazon can say, would you like 2 million people that will buy a spy novel just because we offer it to them because we have a relationship and we know that they like spy novels? How about baby diapers? We've got a list of 4 million new moms that not only buy baby diapers, but this, that, and the other thing that new moms buy. That list of customers and knowledge about them is more valuable probably than the infrastructure that they have. Does that all make sense?
Yes, and I think I'm really excited because everything that you're saying is what we have been doing. So, and we do keep in touch with our client list. We have e-papers, guides and infographics, and we have a CRM where we keep, dispatching emails and making phone calls to these clients that haven't said, I'm ready to ask for a bid. So I'm really excited.
Beautiful. So you are much farther ahead in the game than most of the people I talk with. There's one last thing I'll give you, and I can't get into it because I got to hit the lightning round, but also strategic alliances. You want to start picking a buyer that can pay 5x, 10x your profits as opposed to 2x, which is generally what people want to give. The way that you do that is you find someone that wants your customers. So a strategic buyer might be someone else. If you're a residential, it might be an HVAC company, right? Or a pest control company. They go out every month and charge $100 to do pest control. Well, shoot, you go out every month and charge $150 to do cleaning. You could sell pest control to their customers, right? So you've got 100 customers, they've got 100 customers. You could sell to them, they could sell to yours. Now, instead of when they buy your company, if you're both similar size, instead of doubling, you can quadruple because they get to sell the cleaning customers pest control, and you get to sell the pest control customers cleaning service. On a commercial cleaning service, that could be, that could be an accountant, right? He's like, well, shoot, I've got monthly accounts that I charge. Why not charge them for the I could sell all my monthly accounts cleaning and say, hey, I'm your accountant. I want to save you money. I want to consult with you on facilities management. And they could sell all your facility management accountant services and all your accounting people facility management services. So when you can find a strategic buyer like that, and there's a whole process to do that I don't have time to get into, you can sell for 5x, 10x as opposed to 1x, 2x. All right. Was that valuable, Victoria? Did that get you off on the right foot?
I am excited. Yes, thank you.
As well, you should be. The stuff that you're telling me you're doing is phenomenal. Let's hit the lightning round. I'll shut up for 2 seconds and give you the opportunity to share some of the value you've learned with Cleaning Nation. Question number 1, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice, I don't remember where I read this, or I think it was in a book, but it was how to deal with customer complaints. And it was the idea that whenever you have a major crisis, a major situation, think about it. If I'm going to remember this 2 years from now,
I like that a
it
lot.
matters. Do I have to be that crazy and so emotional? Let's just be as rational as possible and think about it long term. When somebody's screaming at your face, just think about it. Does it really matter 2 years from now?
And God, I would be so bold as to say a lot of these things that we get all uptight about and think our lives are over and our customers are pissed and, you know, this is just miserable. Are we going to think, are we going to remember this 2 days from now, right? 2 years, 99% of it's not going to be gone, but exactly. I'd say 90%, two days from now, we're going to have a new problem and forget all about it. That's a great, I don't think anyone's ever shared that. Great share. I like that, Victoria. Question number 2, what's the biggest mistake you've made in the cleaning business that we can all kind of learn from and do something different?
Oh my God. I think the one that I remember the most because it makes me laugh is that my sister, who is a partner in the business, was really upset because all the cleaners continued to complain about dealing with the cats and the dogs and how it was a nightmare. And then we had a major customer complaint that said that he couldn't find his cat for 3 days. And the cat had to be taken to the hospital when he found it, and it was her fault and all of that. So I overreacted, and I said, you know what? We are not going to deal with pets anymore. And I didn't think about it strategically at all. And I lost, when I sent that announcement out, I think I lost 5 clients within the same week. So I was really upset with myself.
All right. That's great. So just that overreaction of, it deserved a reaction. It's not that you should have ignored that situation, but you just said, we're not going to, you just made this overreaching, just like you just talked about, probably on emotion, not realizing this is going to be fine. You're like, I'm just going to, solve this pain. And you made a decision that you regret. Man, you are so insightful, Victoria. Thank you for sharing that with the audience. Last question. What's one idea, something easy to implement that Cleaning Nation, as soon as this podcast is over, can put into practice and make their lives or their business just a little bit better?
I would say it's the first 90 minutes that you get to the office or that you start working. Make it count, make it your sales activity. So you hit, the goals of your day is to do X in sales, break it down by the day, and make sure that you're following a process that the first 90 minutes you get to implement every day.
Okay, perfect. That's fantastic. Victoria, thank you so much for joining us. I love your story. Thank you for sharing it, your passion, your desire to grow. I appreciate you. I know Cleaning Nation appreciates you. Cleaning Nation, if you want to check out Victoria's show notes page and the special video I made just for you, go to growmycleaningcompany.com right now. I will see you there.
Congratulations! You are now 16% smarter. Still can't get enough cleaning goodness? Go to www.growmycleaningcompany.com for more of the good stuff. Ever want to be rich and famous? Owners of cleaning companies as well as industry experts can apply to be featured on the show by emailing our producer Natalie at support@growmycleaningcompany.com. Until then, don't miss out on all the latest cleaning industry lovin' at www.growmycleaningcompany.com. Check it out now.